Blazers didn't win the whole dang thing. When it came down to it, they did not get the #1 pick. They did not get the right to select before the generational talent is heading to the San Antonio Spurs. In some ways, Tuesday night's draft lottery was a disappointment. But I want to tell you that, and that's what we're going to do in today's show, is that landing at number 3 is a really good outcome, all things considered, for the Blazers for a variety of reasons. But even with that really good outcome, now they got decisions to make. The direction, the demand to choose a direction has been clear since exit interviews, and Damian Lillard made it as simple. You either make a trade to get older and better and don't draft youngsters, or you draft youngsters and I'm out of here. Portland, now armed with the #3 pick, has to make a decision. That's what today's show is about. Let's talk about how they got the #3 pick, what's going on with the draft, and we'll talk about the decisions ahead for them and what trade upgrades to help Dame would look like, and the reality that there is a path in which the era ends, and Damian Lillard wears another jersey, and it's weird. But let's start with how they got it. Some really good reporting. I strongly recommend to read Jake Fisher's article on Yahoo Sports. It's really good reporting. A bunch of folks were in the draft room, including Portland's two local Portland media members, Bill Oram of the Oregonian, Sean Pickett of Rose Garden, of course. But the way the NBA does it is they bring in some executives, some media members, some people who work for the law firm that runs the lottery into this secret little room and sequester them, and then they actually run the lottery there, and then they broadcast it as a television event for all of us on the outside to watch. So, according to Fisher's reporting, and again, it's a really good story, I'll link it in the episode description for this episode. And I saw Ben Golliver report this too. Everyone in the room saw the same thing. Ben Golliver of the Washington Post, also a local, Beaverton's own. The first 3 numbers that get spit out of the machine, 14, 5, and 8. The way the lottery works is that there are 4 number combinations. If your number comes up, that's it. The lottery only is for 1 through 4 because that's who jumps up in the lottery, and then everything else goes chalk behind that. So they're choosing 4 slots, and then it'll work out from there because you just drop back to where you drop back once someone jumps up. Well, it's multiple jumps. After 14, 5, and 8 show up, the Blazers are 1 number away. If the next ball pops out of the machine, the next ping pong ball that pops out of the machine is a 3, the Blazers have won the lottery. And a year of brutal and aggressive losing, this wasn't a year, it was 5 weeks. It was a while. It felt longer than it really was, but it was a month of losing aggressively and losing on purpose and benching 10-day guys who were too good to play and blah 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 and fabricating injuries and all that, all going to pay off. The decision to pivot at the trade deadline and get worse instead of better was all going to pay off. We're 1 number away. We're 1 number away. The Wizards, the Washington Wizards, had 6 possible numbers that could have popped out of that machine. 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15. Any of those 6 numbers pop out, the Washington Wizards have the #1 pick in the NBA draft. And Wemby is heading to the nation's capital. The Blazers are looking for a 3. Just 1 number. 14 numbers, right? Just 1 number. It's a 2. And the Spurs get another generational big man. Another one. Heading to San Antonio. In the 2 spots, Charlotte. The Blazers land in 3rd. And I think landing in 3rd has real value specifically because of where Charlotte landed. Charlotte was LaMelo Ball, and presumably the presumptive #2 overall pick in the NBA draft has mostly been Scoot Henderson. I've seen a couple of people who have had Brandon Miller, But it has mostly been Scoot Henderson. I think for a long time, friend of the program, Raphael Barlow has had Brandon Miller as the number 2 prospect in the draft. I believe Kevin O'Connor of the Ringer also has him as the number 2 prospect in the draft. So it's not like Brandon Miller is way, way, way behind. But those are typically the consensus top 3 guys, and Scoot is usually the first one. Plays point guard. And he's a point guard who needs the ball because he's not this dynamic shooter. He's a get into the paint kind of like, I've heard, whatever, not necessarily scouts, but people quoting anonymous sources who are probably scouts and front office types. I've read this, comparing him to young Derrick Rose. That type of, elite athlete who can just get downhill, get to the rim. I've seen Scoot play those 2 games against Victor Wembanyama in that showcase in Vegas, and he was fun as heck. He shot fine. But in general, he's like a downhill threat. And a ball in his hand type of lead guard. The problem is they already have LaMelo Ball, and he's that guy. And in fact, before the lottery order happened on the Locked On NBA pre-lottery show that was live on YouTube that I was a part of, we talked about how if Charlotte were to move up to 2, that Scoot isn't an ideal fit. In fact, people who are much smarter than me, like Leif Doolin of Locked On NBA Big Board, someone who does draft stuff, professionally, said that's, not an ideal fit. Wouldn't be an ideal fit. Maybe you would consider it, but wouldn't be an ideal fit. And there's been some reporting, including Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports, that Brandon Miller might be the pick. And there's speculation that they'll just go with the, 6'8" wing over the guard because they already have that position locked down. That leaves the Blazers in the 3rd spot with the generational talent that most folks think would go 2. 3 is an asset. 3 is an asset because it might be the keys to Scoot Henderson, the keys to a franchise player. And if you have a franchise player, other teams are going to come calling. In fact, Joe Cronin told Yahoo Sports, and I'm quoting here from the article from Jake Fisher, "We're a team that's trying to win and trying to maximize Damian Lillard's time. This was an important night for us. Front offices around the league think highly of this draft, so you would think that a lot of teams that are sitting on the stage tonight will be getting a lot of calls from teams trying to move up and maneuver." It doesn't sound like someone who plans on using the 3rd pick. But the Blazers can't just be irresponsible in trading that pick. They gotta weigh their options. And so what I want to do to close the show is talk about the sort of reality that's ahead of them. They have to make a decision. Are they going to trade 3? Are they going to keep Damian Lillard? Because if you select a rookie at 3, you've already made the decision. The Damian Lillard era is over. I said it on yesterday's show, and I'll repeat it again here. If the Blazers select anyone in the lottery, not named Victor Wembanyama, they are signaling the end of the Damian Lillard era. They've got to make a decision. And now the decision gets, in some ways, easier, and in some ways, more challenging. Let's talk about that to close the show, and we'll do that first in the second segment. We'll talk about what does their path look like of keeping Damian and making that trade. But first, I want to tell you about Bird Dogs. They're the most comfortable shorts I've ever worn. I'm wearing them right now. I will spare you the moving of the camera if you're on YouTube, but believe me, below this t-shirt, I'm wearing really comfortable shorts. I'm wearing these they've got a couple different options there. They've got sort of a more athletic looking shorts, and they've got a more formal, almost chino type short, but it's still stretchy, it's still soft, it's still super comfortable and super versatile. You could probably get away with rocking these on the golf course if you're a golfer, or they could be your lounge shorts by the pool. It's that versatility and that comfort that makes Bird Dogs so darn special. I'm wearing them to record a podcast. They're comfy as I sit on my chair here, but I was rocking them all afternoon in the yard, getting my gardening on, walking my baby in the park, doing cool dad stuff around my neighborhood and looking cool and feeling great. So if you wanted to be doing cool dad stuff, or if you're not a dad, you just wanted to garden and go to the park, got a great short for you. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. Enter the promo code LockedOnNBA. They will give you a free custom